Let me show you how to review trend data and axial length growth curves on the Myah. Myah's trend data allows you to examine how axial length and other parameters are changing over time. There are a number of ways you can access trend data. If you have just captured a dataset and want to view data trends straight away, select the RxAL Trends tab at the top of the screen. You can also select this tab at any time from the Measurements page to view the trend data. Alternatively, you can access the trend data from the home screen after selecting your patient menu by touching the RxAL Trends tab. The number in blue indicates the total number of examinations. Select OD to view trends for the right eye or OS for the left eye. Alternatively, you can view the two eyes together by toggling on Comparison. Several viewing options can be selected from the tabs on the left. The GC, or Growth Curves tab, plots the axial length at each visit against published growth curves, enabling you to see how the patient's eye is growing in relation to a large age-matched population of the same gender and ethnicity. Where the axial length values sit in relation to the percentiles and how this changes over time should be considered alongside other information when judging the risk of myopia progression or the effectiveness of a particular myopia intervention. Whether you are reviewing the data on the Myah itself or at a review station, you can select whether to compare axial length to the Erasmus growth curves collected on European children or Chinese growth curves. You can set one or the other dataset as the default via the Settings menu. See the Myah user manual for instructions on how to do this. The RxAL tab shows the data collected over time so that trends can be examined. This is valuable for understanding how the eye is growing and the contribution made by each element. If refraction data has been imported or added at each visit, the spherical equivalent will be charted at the top. The axial length at each visit can be seen below. A white flag indicates that a note has been added to provide clinical information relevant to that visit. Notes can be added using the Notes tab. Clicking on any data point shows the measurement and age at that visit, along with any notes added. The Rx tab shows the refractive error over time, with the variation graph below it. The variation graph allows you to visualize when refractive error is progressing faster, indicated by an upward trend, or slowing down, indicated by a downward trend. You can change the period of time over which the trend is visualized from 3, 6, or 12 months. It is important to remember that refractive error depends on the axial length of the eye, combined with the power of the optical elements, and may not always track the axial length growth. The AL tab shows the axial length over time with the variation graph below. The variation graph allows you to visualize when axial elongation is speeding up, indicated by an upward trend, or slowing down, indicated by a downward trend. Again, you can choose the period of time over which the trend is visualized. The ALCR tab shows the axial length to corneal radius ratio over time. This ratio is an increasingly popular metric to help judge the risk of myopia onset and the risk of rapid progression. The refractive error trend is shown below for comparison. The APP, or Average Pupillary Power tab, shows how the power of the anterior corneal surface changes over time over a 4.5 mm pupil zone. The variation graph is below. A sudden change in the APP coinciding with an increase in refractive error might suggest that the myopia relates to an abnormality of the cornea rather than axial elongation. It should prompt careful examination of the topography plots. The Data tab allows you to see the full set of measurements at each visit. You can also change the baseline visit for trend analysis. For example, you may want to set the baseline as the date a new treatment commenced to examine the trend related to that intervention. Be aware that the Delete button deletes all examination data for that visit. Notes can also be added from here or from the Notes tab, where all notes can be viewed at once. This icon allows you to manually add refraction data for a particular visit. And that's how to review trend data using the Myah.